Kashmiri Pandit community. This is a felicitation event which we are holding today for the Kashmir Files team. And this is from the Kashmiri Pandit community in the US and globally. Today among us, we have members of the Kashmiri Pandit community in US, but also from UK, from Canada, from UAE, from Singapore, and India, of course, and many other places. The essence of this program today is, of course, to thank and show gratitude to the Kashmir Files team for the immense contributions to our community. It is also a way of connecting the families who have been a part of the movie, whose families and their loved ones have been a part of the reality of the movie, and the cast members who have brought those members to life. It is our way of showing gratitude and thanks to everyone around the world who have seen the movie, shown their sympathy, shared our tears, and heard our stories. It is a way of creating awareness around the globe, and that is the first step of changing the history, the narrative, which has been shrouded in many misconceptions for the past 32 years. Our story, our history started 32 years back with the latest Exodus, the seventh Exodus. And since then, we have not been heard. We have been silent. We have tried to bring our stories out in the public, but not many people were ready to hear that. This movie has changed that. It has catalyzed the entire world community. And now for the first time, they're seeing what really are the facts behind our genocide, our ethnic cleansing, and our exodus. So for that, we are grateful to the team of the Kashmir Files, the director, the producers, the cast members, and of course, everyone who has worked hard for the past 4 years to make this a reality and make sure that this reaches the entire globe and people are aware of the reality of Kashmiri Pandits. Today amongst us are some of the family members of the victims, and I'm grateful that they are here. We will try to connect those to the rest of the world so that they will see for themselves that our story and the Kashmir Files is not just a movie, it is a reality. Amongst us are also many other members of other communities who are here to share their views and also thank the team for the wonderful job that they have done. It is my pleasure to introduce our moderators today, Mr. Sanjay Kaul of New Jersey, who is the moderator for our Zoomed program, which is a community-based program for KOA, and also Mr. Abhinav Raina from Chicago, who is a board member and who has very closely worked with the Kashmir Files team in promoting the movie in US. Thank you both, and please take it from here. Sanjay, you are on mute.
Thank you. Namaskar, good morning, good evening. It's truly an honor and a privilege to host this event for KOA and to celebrate the momentous success of Kashmir Files. Kashmir Files is not a movie, it is a phenomenon. That is what we have seen and experienced in the last few months. And Archana ji has already spoken about the broad construct of the program. मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाहूँगा कि हमने इस program में 3 segments रखे हैं. So first segment is about the families whose lives were shown so beautifully in the movie by Vivek ji and Pallavi ji and the entire crew cast of the movie. Segment 2 में हम बात करेंगे Vivek ji से, Pallavi ji से, Dr. Surendra Kaul से about how this all journey started. Or the third segment of the program will be about some of the leading KOA diaspora members who wish to convey their gratitude, their thanks, and want to say a few words about how this movie has changed the lives for everybody. So without further ado, we will start the first segment of the program, and that is going to be kicked off by Abhinav Raina. Abhinav ji, we can start the interview process for the, no, I shouldn't say the interview, for the families whose lives were impacted. Please take it.
Thank you, Sanjay. So, once again, welcome to our honorable guest, and thank you to all for joining this event. So,
120. Mute, please.
so let's start with the first segment. As Sanjay just said, the imagine some of the family members who have been the direct victims of this, and many instances of whom are even captured in the film as well, right? I'm going to request some to come forward and express their gratitude to Vivekji, Pallavi, and to the entire Kashmir Files team. So first, I would request Himanshu Ganji to say a few words. Himanshu has inspired the Krishna character, the central character of the film. Vivekji has talked about it. As some of you know that horrible incidents that happened back in May 1990, when both his parents, his mom, Mrs. Rana Ganju, and his dad, Professor Kaul Ganju, they were kidnapped in Sopot and later murdered. So, I would like Himanshu, please come forward, say a few words of appreciation for bringing this story up and letting the world know. Himanshu, please.
Namaste, everybody, and namaskar. Thank you, Abhinav, for giving me the opportunity, and thanks a lot to KOA for giving me this opportunity as well. So with that said, I would say there was a world before Kashmir Files, and there's a world after Kashmir Files. So with that said, Vivekji, Pallavi, I had a great expectation with the Kashmir Files from start itself. But the way Kashmir Files has created awareness, not only to our fellow Indian brothers and sisters, but also within our young Kashmiri community, is something beyond words. Just saying thanks to you and the entire team of Kashmir Files will never be enough to repay your guts and the courage you show, the true incidents which most of the political supremes in India did not allow to be narrated for past 32 years. And with that said, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Vivekji and Pallavi, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Himanshu. So, you can hear me clearly. Now, I want to request Sapna Wali Raina to say a few words. Sapna ji is granddaughter of Justice Neelkant Ganju, who on November 4th, 1989, was brutally killed in a broad daylight by the police. Sapna ji has been quite vocal to come forward and tell the world about this gruesome event. But today, she wants to say a few words of thanks to the PKF team, the Kashmir File team that we typically call PKF. So Sapna ji, please come forward and say a few words.
Thank you so much. Namaskar, Sarni. Thank you, KOA, for giving me this opportunity. Of course, like Abhinav ji said, I have been speaking about it all along, but we just did not have the listening ears all along. I have been speaking, but Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, and the entire Kashmir Files team gave a new the vision to the world about my grandfather, not as a victim. Somebody was, when you look up his picture on the road, but of esteemed session judge. Kashmir Files indeed has created history of sorts for me, my family, the community in its entirety. Had it not been for Kashmir Files, the majority of the world would not have known the truth. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, and Basha ji who have joined us, and the entire behind the scenes dream team of Kashmir Files for taking the bold step to expose the pain and suffering of what my community has gone through, and that has been denied and unacknowledged for over 3 decades at this point. again, I want to say it's not that the people were not speaking, it's that the majority were not listening. They were not believing. Matter of fact, they were questioning and denying the facts. So thank you for, in addition to being and bringing a topic of human tragedy that majority were unaware of to the mainstream conversation globally. For me personally, the immense strength that Kashmir File has done is I am able to talk about it loud and clear without any hesitation, without any shame, without any hindrance, even at my workplace. We had a great diversity and inclusion event last week at work where I spoke about it, and Vivek ji, Palvi ji, Pasha ji, and Darshan ji joined us. And I cannot tell you and thank you enough how many queries have come back to me and how many are pushing each other that you got to go and watch the movie. So again, it has risen awareness, and people are telling each other that the silence of good people is more dangerous than the brutality of the bad people, as said by great Martin Luther King Jr. So thank you so much again from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for giving a new identity to Justice Neelkan Ganju, not just as a victim, as my beloved grandfather, as a person who was. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Sapna ji. Now I request Anjali Raina ji to say a few words. Anjali ji's dad, Shri Chamanlal Kaul, was abducted on the fateful day of 24th of June, 1990, by the terrorists and tortured and killed in the name of freedom. So Anjali ji, please, come forward and say a few words.
Thank you, Kaul, for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to say a few words on this platform. So this tragedy has changed our lives. It not only shattered us, but also gave us never-ending pain. The journey of TKF, or the Kashmir Files, has been very soothing to me. After watching the movie, I really felt like our martyrs, including my father, got justice. It was the first time in 32 years someone heard our voice and gave us Kashmir Files. The movie that is a sincere depiction of truth on our genocide has started healing my wounds. I truly believe that the movie is working like a Sanjeevani Bhuti. In Tritiya Yug, Veer Hanumanji had to cross 7 oceans to obtain it for saving the life of Lord Lakshman ji. No one until now was able to find this Sanjeevani Bhuti for us, for KPs, but now we have one. Vivek ji and Palvi ji, you are our healers. No one else would have been able to do it. You have become our voice, and that has reached to millions and millions and millions. My sincere, immense gratitude to you both, entire team of TKF, including our wonderful star cast, who have played their characters with great conviction. Pallavi ji and Vivek ji, my shat naman to your dedication, honesty, sincerity, humbleness, and humility. जब भी आपको देखती हूँ तो मेरा सर हमेशा आपके सामने झुक जाता है, मेरे आंखें नम हो जाती हैं और दिल से सिर्फ एक दुआ निकलती है, आप हमेशा चांद और तारों की तरह रोशन, आपका नाम हमेशा चांद और तारों की तरह रोशन रहे. May you have all the happiness in the world. Thank you so much again. I would like to express my gratitude. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Anjali Raina, for your kind words. With that, I'll request Sanjay ji to take the program further and request other members to speak up.
I think now I'm going to ask Archana to talk to 3 more families who are also here with us. Archana, could you take it from here?
As you can see that this moment today is a moment of catharsis for our community. We obviously cannot have many more people here, but we tried, and we brought some of the more prominent families here whose stories were depicted. So the next guest that I'm going to introduce is Rajinder Premiji. He's joining us from Delhi. And as you will remember, that one of the most horrible and horrific scenes in the movie is about Sarvanand Premiji, a poet in Kashmir, and his son, who were taken by the terrorists. And I just cannot go on and what how we saw them the next day morning, I'm going to invite Rajinder ji to say a few words about what the movie meant for him and how he is dealing with the pain and the agony of his father and his brothers. Rajinder ji. He was upgraded, right?
Rabinder ji or Rajinder ji?
Rajinder ji, Rajinder Premi.
Okay.
Rajinder ji is here, but he is like the video is turned off and he's on mute.
Really?
Yes.
So I have spoken with Rajinder ji a few days back, and he was telling his journey through the last 32 years since that tragedy occurred in his family, and how much material. His father was a very eminent poet, a very well-known social activist and a political activist of his time, and how little we know about him and his life. And he wanted to share a poem which his father had written long back. And I am sorry, maybe we'll bring him back to the pro. Is he
I
well?
think he just turned on his video for a second.
Rajinder Premi ji, if you
Yes.
can hear us, if we just wanted to call you on. Yes, he is. Namaskar, Mara. To chu mute us par to keriu na unmute. Rajinder ji, to he ko unmute pan kare. Can you hear us, Rajinder ji? We can't hear you.
Maybe the host had muted him before. Can the host ask him to unmute?
We are asking him to unmute.
Maybe we can go to Siddhi, Raina.
We'll go to the next. Rajinder ji, we'll come back to you, please. I'm sorry, this is your mute button is not working. We will come back to you. Give me a few minutes to fix this. The next person I want to call on is Siddhi. She is our youth representative, and of course, she also helps us in a lot of social platforms and stuff like that. She works very closely with my communications team. Siddhi beta, your family obviously has undergone a very gruesome history. Siddhi's aunt is Girija Rana. I don't need to say any further. Siddhi, please take it from here, beta.
Thank you, Archana Auntie. Once again, Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, Basha ji, thank you so much for portraying my bua in the movie, especially Basha ji. I never saw her. I saw her through you, and it's very emotional for me to see something like that on screen. So it's like my hugest gratitude to the entire cast and the entire team. Walking into the film, I was scared for my father, scared for me, because I didn't know how it was gonna go, but really huge thank you to all of you guys.
Thank you, Siddhi beta. And it is through the cast and the actors who have depicted these stories on the screen that we see these families and these people coming alive, and it is just profoundly touching and saddening to see how the journey for these families has been so very sad and full of psychological difficulties and emotional upheavals. The next one I was going to basically I was hoping that she would come on the camera, but my friend, she could not. And her name is Anita Saraf. She's a very close friend of mine. We went to school together. And I have been in touch with her. We talk sometimes about her family. Recently, when I talked to her and I said to her that we are doing this program, I would like her to come here. And initially she said yes, but then she could not. She is watching the program, but doesn't have the courage, doesn't have the emotional stability to come here. Her brother, Sanjay Tikku, was among the first victims that Bita Karate killed. And Anita and her parents, every day in their life, every day, they feel that they have not brought justice to their brother, Satish Tikku. And every day she's looking for avenues where she can go and where she can get that justice. It is tough. It is very difficult for these families to live day to day, not knowing that the person who has killed their loved ones is still roaming on the streets, and our judicial system has not done anything about it. It's a little consolation that the Bitter Karate file has been opened, and we hope that there would be at least some form of justice, even if it's delayed for these families. So, on behalf of Anita, my close friend, my dear friend, I hope that we all can work towards and we can all rise towards bringing some form of closure and justice to these families. I would like again to go to Rajinder Premiji and see if his mic is fixed. Otherwise, we'll bring him back later on the program. Thanks. Can we check, please?
He's still on mute. I'm asking him to unmute, but
Can the host unmute him?
yeah.
We can ask him to unmute, but we can't unmute him directly.
Okay. He has to, I think, unmute himself.
Ashna, we can go to the next segment and we can come
Or
back.
can we request Rajinder ji, if you can hear, can you join from a different device?
Rajinder ji, ताछु अगर ते लैपटॉप छु या फोन छु अगर तो tempered करियो connect. Achu शायद there is a button that you have to press to unmute yourself. Sanjay ji, I will give it back to you for starting the next segment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Archana ji, and thank you, Abhinav. There are so many stories and they are so heart-rending, and I think we have captured a small section of those stories. The movie had become a voice for our community, and everybody has pointed that out. The visuals were so strong, and the settings of Kashmir were so pure. People all over the world are asking us, did it really happen? There are so many things in the movie I can talk about. Palviji's performance as a faculty member, Basha Sumli as a young Kashmiri mom, Anupam as a grandfather, and I can go on and on and on. But I want to start this session with Vivekji's and Palviji's one question. But I am reminded of a shloka from Gita, which kind of resonates with me when I saw the character of Krishna. And I'll try to say it as closely as I can. It goes like, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam, Tasyam Jagrati Sanyami, Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani, Sa Nisha Pashyatu Muni. Literally translated, it means what all of us beings consider as a day is the night of ignorance for the wise. And what all creatures, simple mortals, see as night is the day, is the light for the Muni or the sage. I can take it in many different ways. I look at the character of Krishna in the movie, how he got transformed towards the end. What he thought was the reality was not the reality, and everything changed in the end for him. And he brought it out so beautifully. With that said, मैं आप विवेक जी से बात करना चाहता हूँ और कुछ ऐसी बात करना चाहता हूँ जो शायद हमने पहले ना सुनी हो. बहुत चर्चा हुई है इस मूवी की टीवी पे, हर चैनल पे. सो कोशिश होगी कुछ ऐसा पूछूं जो शायद पहले लोगों ने ना सुना हो. आसान तो नहीं है. So could you talk a little bit about this journey, how it started? Challenges थे कश्मीर में, काफी लोगों ने मदद की, काफी लोगों ने support दिया. How it all sort of happened? Could you talk about that a little bit, sir?
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Namaskar, all the people here, Kashmiri Overseas Association, and all the wonderful members here. Lots of people ask me this question: how did it all happen? I wish I had known. Because some magics, when they happen, you don't know how they happen. It's for the others later in the future to write stories how it happened. I have no idea, you know. But I'll tell you exactly what I tell everybody. That something like this, something so magical, something so divine, is not possible without the blessings of elders and people. I think this has been made possible because people who lost their lives in this battle, people who lost their homes, their heritage, their past, their everything. I think those were pure souls. And they definitely wished that somebody became their voice. Second thing, which is also, which I think is brilliant, and it has become a reference for the future generations. This movie is a great learning for the future generations, and future generations, not only from Kashmiri Pandit community, from any community which believes in survival, which believes in education, which believes in humanity. So that's what I think is the blessings culminated ultimately in the form of this story. But also, I think somewhere it was the deep desire to give a message to the entire humanity, the human folks. Everybody I met spoke very positively, spoke very emotionally, and emotions are generally very pure. They were not manipulative. People were not scheming. They were not trying to manipulate our emotions. And which is why what you see, the innocence in the film, right from the first frame where you see Shiva, and when you see Bhasha's character with the child, her husband, Anupam, everybody you see throughout the film, that there is a kind of a spirituality in the film, kind of an innocence. Spirituality is not always very, very beautiful, because if you look at Shiva's cosmic dance, the great Tandav Nritya or the Manthan, they are not very peaceful, but they are all spiritual, towards the spiritual goal. So I believe, I have a great belief in the spiritual forces. I have great belief in the blessings of elders. And above all, I think it's because I very deeply believe in the power of Shiva and Saraswati, and both have ultimately blessed us, that the whole world is talking about it, and some positively, some folks negatively, but at least everybody is talking about it who had forgotten this issue for last 32 years.
Thank you very much, Vivekji. Pallavi, you want to say something about the journey, the challenges, and the dangers of shooting in Kashmir?
Thank you, Sanjay ji. First of all, I would like to thank KOA, Archana ji, and of course my friend Abhi, who started with all the stories. As I look around on the panel, there are so many friends that I see around. There is Surinder ji, there's Himanshu, there is Swapna, Bhasha, of course. There is Rabinder ji, Anjali ji, Soman ji, Mohan ji, Jeevan ji, Shubhan ji. There's Ashish Kachru also I saw. ये फिल्म बनाते हुए मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि रिसर्च के लिए जहाँ जहाँ हम लोग गए, वहाँ वहाँ हमारे रिश्ते जुड़ गए, वहाँ वहाँ हमारे परिवार जुड़ गए, और the whole Kashmiri Pandit community, जितने भी लोगों से हमने बातें की हैं, they're all part of our lives now. And I can't even begin to, I've always said this, that it is very, very difficult when you go through a tragedy like this to trust someone who comes in front of you with a camera, sitting down, asking questions about, okay, tell me what happened to your father or what happened to your sister. I know it's very difficult for people to open up, but yet they did. They trusted us. And we decided to be very honest with the film. My heart goes out to Siddhi when she spoke just now. I wish this wasn't virtual. I would have given her a big hug. एक बात मैं कहना चाहूंगी कि ये हमसे बहुत लोग पूछते रहते हैं that what about all the threats that you receive and what about the daily trolling that we receive. कल ही some very senior politician has said that TKF ने तो divisive काम किया है, हिंदू और बाकी communities के बीच में तनाव पैदा किया है, and that is exactly what the central government wants. But these things, I think हम लोगों को बहुत इससे ऊपर उठ जाना चाहिए because we know what we've done. एक जो सत्य लोगों के सामने इतने सालों से नहीं आया था, उसको हमने रखा है. लोगों को आज पता चला है, जैसे मुझे 4 साल पहले पता चला, लोगों को आज पता चला है कि क्या हुआ था हमारे भारत में और किस तरह से एक पूरी की पूरी कम्युनिटी को एक पूरे स्टेट से बाहर कर दिया है. और अभी तक ये 7वां एक्सोडस है आपका, और इस बार आप वापस अभी तक नहीं जा पाए हैं. तो कैन यू हियर मी?
We missed something. Can you repeat that, please?
Okay, I'm saying that ये लोगों के सामने हमने ये सत्य लाने की कोशिश की है जो आज तक भारत को पता नहीं था, जिस तरह से मुझे पता नहीं था 4 साल पहले, इसकी गहराई पता नहीं थी. तो ये लोगों के सामने हम ला चुके हैं ये सत्य. और ये देखिए, जब भी आप सत्य के मार्ग पे निकलते हैं तो रोड़े तो सामने आते ही हैं. तो अभी ये सब चीजें अभी मेरे ख्याल से हमें भूल जानी चाहिए. लोग कहते हैं कि हमेशा हैप्पीनेस गेट्स पीपल टुगेदर. आप पार्टियां करो, आप खुश हो और देखो कैसे लोग जुड़ते हैं. पर हमारे साथ इस पहली बार ऐसा हुआ है कि पेन में और ग्रीफ में लोग जुड़े हैं. जितने लोगों के साथ हमारे रिश्ते बने हैं, ये सब उनके पेन और ग्रीफ सुन के ही बने हैं. और मेरे ख्याल से ये रिश्ते ज्यादा गहरे हैं. वो पार्टी और हेलो हाय हेलो वाले जो रिश्ते हैं, उससे बहुत ज्यादा गहरे रिश्ते सबके साथ बने हैं. और मैं I think I am one of the richest people today because I've gained so many people in my life, and I've gained so many friends who will stay with me, whose stories will stay with me. And I know that every time I travel to US or UK or Australia or wherever, I know I have homes there of my own people. And हमने तो कश्मीर फाइल्स बना दी फिल्म, लेकिन उसके लिए हमें जो मिला है प्यार आप सब लोगों से, that is unparalleled, and I can only thank God for bringing all of you in our lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So beautifully said. Really, it's really touching. And शब्द नहीं है इसके बारे में कुछ कहने के लिए. अब हम अगला जो हमारी बात होने वाली है वो भाषा सुमली जी के साथ है. और मैं कैन यू go ahead with the next question for Bhasha, please.
I'm going to take this question, but I was hoping to see if Rajinder ji has had a chance to connect back. If we can check on him. I guess not. So coming to Bhasha, thank you so much, Bhasha, for joining us today. We are so honored and pleased to have you on this program. And this is the daughter of Kashmir who is sitting with us today and who has given such a phenomenal performance and depicted the tragedies lived through many women during that course in the history of Kashmir. Through her portrayal of Sharda Pandit, she is living through many of the women and many families. And what a stellar performance. So first of all, congratulations on our side for really a phenomenal performance. But we would like to know, obviously, who is Bhasha? Her childhood, obviously, has been spent with immensely popular and well-known parents who have been activists themselves. And you have lived through that exodus yourself, in camps yourself, you've talked about it. How was your journey through her childhood, and how did you, how was the making of this movie, the roles, how did that play a part in your portrayal of Sharda Pandit.
नमस्कार सारणी गुल जगंडित नमस्कार सारणी येते सारणी जिठन
नमस्कार।
बड़न सारणी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद इतना आपने अप्रिशिएट किया मेरे काम को धन्यवाद मैं who is Bhasha is a question which is not very different from if you ask who is Sharda or who is any other Kashmiri woman because they're all a part of me and daughter of Kashmir raised in refugee camps and constantly having this pain of being deprived of my motherland, my beautiful motherland. And this has just been how my consciousness has grown and evolved. और ये सारी कहानी मैं दोहराने से ज़्यादा ये कहूँगी कि this role, Sharda Pandit and the way people have connected with it. अभी सिद्धि से हमने सुना सिद्धि चीर नालमोत नमस्कार, lots of love. एंड इसी तरह से सभी के साथ जो रिश्ता जुड़ा है ये सिर्फ उसी माँ कश्मीरा की कृपा है, माँ शारदा की कृपा है। और मैं पब्लिकली भी कहती हूँ, हमेशा कहती हूँ, आज फिर से कहूंगी कि विवेक सर और पल्लवी मैम जिस तरह से हमारे लिए हमारी लाइफ में आए हैं वो शिव और पार्वती से कम बिल्कुल मैंने उनको कभी नहीं देखा। और मैं शूटिंग के दौरान हमेशा मम्मी से बात करती थी फोन पे और मैं उनको यही बोलती थी हमेशा कशिर पे के मतलब बिछस्ते मनसोय नजर करान शिव तो पार्वती honestly because that's how as Shaivites, as people of Kashmir Shaivism, we see such grace after 3 decades and we were not silent but we were silenced. So this has now been that explosion of truth. The Kashmir Files has been that massive explosion of truth जो कोई रोक नहीं पाया और चाहे वो विरोधी हो चाहे समर्थक हो सभी को उसको मानना पड़ा कि हाँ ये हुआ है, ये सच है और अभी ये इट हैज गॉन बियॉन्ड कंट्रोल। सो दैट्स व्हाट जो सत्य का विस्फोट जिसको कहते हैं वो कश्मीर फाइल्स के थ्रू हुआ है हम सभी के जीवन में। तो इस फिल्म को करते समय बतौर भाषा या बतौर शारदा या बतौर एक असिस्टेंट जो टीम में मैंने विवेक सर से कहा था कि मैं सीखना चाहती हूँ तो मैं ना छुटपुट काम करती रहूंगी यहाँ वहाँ जो भी है। और उसके अलावा खैर चीजों के बारे में जो कश्मीरी भाषा और कल्चर के बारे में जो कुछ भी मैं योगदान दे सकती थी अपना वो मैंने दिया। तो उस तौर पे एज दैट वर्किंग एज दैट जब मैं वो सीन्स होते देखती थी तो मुझे साइड पे मतलब मैं उस पे वन और नॉट जस्ट मी द एंटायर टेक्निकल क्रू द एंटायर एवरीबॉडी इनफैक्ट जस्ट द कास्ट एंड एवरीबॉडी तो इतना हैवी हो जाता था वो। मगर मैं खतरो ज्यादा गसन क्या मुझे ये होता था कभी कभी कि आई हैड टू पिंच माई सेल्फ क्या सच हो रहा है, क्या हमारी कहानी सच में बताई जा रही है, क्या होता है ना क्योंकि आई ट्रस्ट देम ऑफ कोर्स मुझे था सब कुछ मगर लगता था क्या ये चला जाए मतलब ये आएगा स्क्रीन पे ये सच है ये क्या ये सपना है। क्योंकि हम लोगों को जिस तरह से वी हैड एक्सेप्टेड द फैक्ट दैट वी वर अनटचेबल्स दैट हमारी बात नहीं होगी, वी आर अनवांटेड पीपल, we are a complete civilization who are unwanted. तो क्या हमारी ये इच्छा पजर मेरे को वो होता था। और ऑफ कोर्स इट वाज सो हैवी सब कुछ देखना उसको उससे उभरना फिर थोड़े थोड़े ब्रेक्स लेके वापस आना एंड यू नो जस्ट वाइपिंग योर टीयर्स एंड कमिंग बैक ऑन द सेट्स कि हाँ अभी क्या करना है अभी क्या कैसे करना है। तो इस तरह से दिस इज हाउ द इमोशनल जर्नी ऑफ द कश्मीर फाइल्स हैज बीन फॉर मी एज एन एक्टर एंड एज एन असिस्टेंट।
तो जब मूवी बन रही थी भाषा और आज अनुपम जी हमारे बीच में नहीं है, उनको शूटिंग की वजह से उनका स्केड्यूल ठीक नहीं जम रहा था, तो उनसे भी हम पूछना चाह रहे थे कि जब आप ऑब्वियसली सीन्स कर रहे थे तो काफी बार आप बहुत इमोशनल होते थे कास्ट में, तो बिहाइंड द कैमरा आप काफी बार आप अपने आप को जो बाकी अनुपम जी थी या काफी बाकी कास्ट मेंबर्स थे उन आपस में गले लग के आप रोते थे और फिर you would wipe those tears and would come back and come in front of a camera, right? Can you talk a little bit about that how was that emotional journey for the cast members since Anupam ji is not here today?
Anupam ji has actually been my boss isse pehle. I was the acting faculty at his school, the actor prepares. So I was actually scared to share screen with him क्योंकि वो एक पुराना रिश्ता वैसा सर वाला था मेरा उनके साथ। तो लेकिन the very first day only he became my bobji. That's his greatness and as expected क्योंकि legends ऐसे ही तो ये लोग होते नहीं हैं। तो he made me feel so comfortable and हमारा रिश्ता instantly बन गया। और फिर उसके बाद से मैंने उनको सर या अनुपम जी बुलाया ही नहीं कभी भी, मैंने उनको हमेशा बोब जी बुलाया, इवन अभी भी व्हेन आई मैसेज हिम या एनीथिंग, सो दैट रिलेशन इज सो स्ट्रांग। उस सीन में जब हमको करते थे, जब भी कोई भी सीन हम करते थे, तो हमारा रिलेशन एक बहुत ही अनसेट टाइप का था, एंड इट वाज वी वर नॉट टॉकिंग इन हिंदी और इंग्लिश, वी वर टॉकिंग इन कश्मीरी थ्रू आउट, चाहे कोई भी बात करनी हो। और जब इमोशनल मोमेंट्स होते थे तो एक ऐसा होता था कि वो कुछ कभी कभी क्या होता है कि आप जब ऐसे बड़े एक्टर्स के साथ काम कर रहे हैं तो वो लोग आपको कोई ना कोई टिप या कोई ना कोई सजेशन जरूर देंगे, लेकिन एक टाइम के बाद फिर हम दोनों इस लेवल पे इमर्स हो जाते थे उसमें कि फिर वो मुझे बस साइलेंस से कहते थे कि मतलब वो साइलेंस से और वो आंखों से आ जाता था कि मतलब ये बहुत हैवी हो गया दोनों के लिए। तो इस टाइप का एक बड़ा ही साइलेंट सा रिलेशन हमारा डेवलप हुआ। This film has actually given me real Bobji because I have not seen my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, मतलब मेरे जो दादाजी थे जिनको बोबजी बुलाते थे, एक्चुअली उनका नाम बोबजी ही था, तभी मैंने उनका नाम बोबजी भी इसमें रखा। मेरे दादाजी जो थे, he could not survive the heat, वो हीट नहीं बर्दाश्त कर सके जम्मू की। So मैंने उनको कभी देखा नहीं, और so that this has actually filled that gap for me. He was so fatherly, and so this film has actually given us those relations कि how it would have been अगर मतलब जैसे अभी सिद्धि ने जो शब्द कहे, मैंने भी कभी उन लोगों को नहीं देखा है, एंड आई थिंक कि अगर देखा होता या मिलती तो वो मेरे माँ समान ही होते, मेरे माँ, मासी, मामा, ये सब मेरे सभी रिलेटिव्स हैं, ये मेरे अपने ही लोग हैं। तो मैं जब ये फिल्म ने मुझे ये एहसास दिया कि अगर हम कश्मीर में होते उस वक्त ऐसे जिया होता, जो मेरी माँ मुझे जब बताती है कि ऐसे सितपेट रोजान था ब्रकनी पेट सितपेट आसान, या वो रिलेशन, या वो मुझे अभी भी बताती है कि जैसे सपने में मैं उसी कमरों में होती हूँ, सपने में मैं उन्हीं गलियों में जा रही होती हूँ, सपने में मैं अपने शारदा पीठ स्कूल जा रही होती हूँ, या वो जो वितस्ता बहती थी सामने से आंगन से, ये सब ये मुझे ये चीजें बताती है जो मुझे नहीं पता है, बट थ्रू दिस फिल्म आई हैव लिव्ड दैट।
Right. Thank you so much for sharing those very poignant moments with us. Sanjay ji, please take it from here. I think Abhinav ji.
May I?
Yes.
Yeah,
May I just
please.
comment for
Of course,
second?
of course.
I would like to just, for the record, मैं यहाँ बताना चाहती हूँ the immense contribution of Bhasha in the film. Apart from, of course, doing the most important character, she was our creative consultant for culture and language. Excellent. And everything Kashmiri. So she has, tirelessly worked with the costume department, with the art department, with all the actors. जितने भी एक्टर्स आपने देखे हैं, जो भी कश्मीरी बिट पार्ट्स जिन्होंने किए हैं, चाहे वो कश्मीरी पंडित हो या वो टेररिस्ट हो, उन सबका जो डायलेक्ट है वो सब भाषा उनके साथ घंटों घंटों बैठ के करती थी। जैसे वो हॉस्पिटल का सीन है जहाँ पे वो लड़का आता है बंदूक लेके और कहता है कि ये अल्लाह का फरमान है। ही इज अ गाय फ्रॉम देहरादून, उसका कश्मीर से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है, बट ही स्पोक वो बाद के जगह बैद बोलना, वो इतनी छोटी छोटी चीजें भाषा ने पर्सनली सब करवाई हैं सारे एक्टरों से, एंड हर कंट्रीब्यूशन, I mean, we can't even begin to say how much she has put herself into this.
This is your kindness, ma'am. नहीं ये आप this is your kindness.
No, you
have been
I mean,
so kind.
It was all
so
you.
Kind.
I think, it's a great point, Pallavi ji, you bring, because we have seen so many Bollywood movies which have some Kashmir, but the accents were very poorly captured. So in this movie, and I 200% agree, some of the accents were so bad, whatever you point, it was so, कह नहीं सकते, बहुत अच्छा किया. So great. Yes, I would agree 100%. So next we are, thanks Bhasha ji. Next we are moving to, I think Vivek ji has called you the architect of the movie, Dr. Surinder Kaul, and I would give it to...
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir and ma'am, मैंने बोला ना शिव और पार्वती, मैं शिव और पार्वती की भक्त हूँ, वो उन्हीं की कृपा है सब.
So Abhinav, you can take it from here, please.
Thank you. Once again, so good, so nice to hear from everyone. And these insights for everyone are very good to hear. So with that, I'll move to next question. So my question is for Surendra ji. So namaskar and welcome again. So first of all, On behalf of the entire Kashmiri Pandit community, we want to say a big, big, big thank you from the core of our heart, for sowing the seed, the idea of the film that not only has brought our unknown stories to this world and raised the awareness about our genocide. Now we know the word genocide, but has also united all Hindus together. It has created such a huge moment in the country, and we are all witnessing that today. So Vivek ji, as as Sanjay ji was saying, mentioned you as the architect of the film. We heard that. I cannot say more about it, I know, but we would like to know how this idea took, what was in your mind, how it shaped in your mind in almost 3 decades now since this took place. Is this something that was in your mind, or is this a divine power, some kind of divine signal from the God? So we want to, know from you, hear from you, but we also want you to have some message for the community that I would request you. So we all want to hear from you, Surinder ji. Please, floor is all yours.
नमस्कार टू एवरीवन. मैं विवेक जी और पल्लवी जी के सामने क्या बात कर सकता हूँ. The smartest people who are so great and have proved themselves. But first of all, I would like to say that besides everyone that I see in this big panel, who definitely have been moving this whole movie, it will be a grave injustice if I do not name some of the people who have been working 24/7 for this cause, who are not here, by the way. This movie, it is a lifetime experience and a lifetime opportunity for me, and I believe for every one of you, and especially those who got associated with it. Some of us got associated after the success of this movie, got associated with it, but there were people who were with this cause right from the day one. I don't believe in names because teamwork is the dream work. And it has been a collective success of the community through Vivek ji and Pallavi ji. They have been the catalyst. It's not that कि मूवी बनी नहीं है कश्मीर के बारे में या कुछ हमारे समाज के बारे में नहीं बनी, पर the way this movie created that huge buzz, a conversation all around the globe, that is the magic that Vivek ji and Pallavi ji has given us. You see their smiling faces, I see their smiling faces, but there has been lots of frustrations in last 4 years also. I take biggest, I know Vivek ji and Pallavi ji, they did the match. But इसमें इतनी सारी inspirations हैं that अगर दिनों दिन बताए जाए वो भी time कम मिले. You see the producer of the movie, Abhishek Agarwal ji. It will be injustice if I don't bring these elements in front of my community. A person who wrote the first check for this movie, when even the script was not ready, correct me Vivek ji and Pallavi ji if I'm wrong, he said that this is the cause of this community, this has to come to in front of the nation, I am writing this check. We should all bow to that personality. We should bow for those who kept this campaign going, huge Indian diaspora who are not part of this campaign, not part of this webinar, but the dedication and commitment they throughout, Abhinav ji, 24/7, they were throughout in this campaign. We need to thank them immensely for what they have done. I should also thank, the global Kashmiri Pandit diaspora, which took the ownership of this whole drive, uniting the community all around the globe. And for that matter, Nija Sadhuji, who is the international coordinator, 24/7. Shafalika Ban Kutwal, 24/7. And perhaps that campaigning was going on. There was so much of work that had to be done. And that was done and delivered and executed. The idea, definitely, it was all divine. We know that what happened with us was a genocide. And, when you see See, GKPD is a civil society movement, the platform to empower all the organizations, KOA, all other community organizations, to bring them to the forefront for a very effective voice. So basically, that we believe that this is all genocide. And when we knew that this is a genocide, we have been trying to reach out to the Bollywood directors that can you please do this? And I should quote my friends here in Houston who are not Kashmiri Pandits, Anant and Pramodji, that can we do something about it? Can we showcase this movie on a celluloid? And in fact, we were trying for a documentary, a good quality document, but it was not connecting. It was not connecting well at all. But definitely when the time comes, all the stars are aligned, then we have God-given gift of interaction with Vivekji, and then subsequently the 4 years, there has been moment of their frustrations also. Now we see all the successes and everything, but the frustrations, the initial moments, the hiccups, the challenges, especially on this complex, sensitive issue. You know, I speak the truth. Even our community, we have so many influencers within the community. You know, silent, everything was silent. Those influencers were silent. Nothing was moving. But things were moving organically through common people. When once everybody saw that this has become a success, so all the influencers jumped in. Everybody jumped in. And that is the right way to do. That is fine. That's very good. That we all should take ownership of this. Now, cutting it short and keeping it brief, you know, we have no dearth of heroes within our community, and they have proven their credentials. I see Mohanji is here in front of us. He was instrumental in putting this whole thing at the Times Square. Rakesh Kolji, I don't know if I didn't see him here. 24/7 he has been putting his energy. Anil Kachruji in New Jersey has been putting all the energies into it, the whole campaign. So my message to the community is that when you have commitment, when we have dedication, perseverance will always help. And good news for all of you, for the whole community again, that Kashmir Files, this is the beginning. इन्होंने जो किया है, they have delivered on it. And I'm telling you that this is the beginning, because we have to continue this campaign. They have gifted us, and it all depends on us. How do we navigate this? And for that, I would like to share good information that we are in touch with Z5. Now it is coming on the OTT platform on Z5, the South Asia's largest OTT platform. And we will be redoing the same effort of promotions and marketing to keep this whole thing growing. We have had several rounds of meetings with their senior executive, and they are so sensitive about it that they don't want to do anything wrong. And now for your kind information that from May 13th, it will be out in US, India, and they are making the schedule for different countries all over the globe. So my request is stay in touch. No matter, this job is not finished. It is just the beginning, and get involved. There is a lot of things to be done. At least we need to run this campaign for 1 year, and we will do that. So the only message for the community is that stay together. As Vivekji has been always saying, the oneness has come from Kashmir. We are one people, whether we live in Australia, whether we live in New Zealand, whether we live in Jagati, whether we live in Delhi, whether we live in Houston, we live in Austin, we are one people. We have to stay together. We have to see that everybody comes together, takes the ownership. And especially those who are leading some organizations, you know, my request to them is that God has given you this opportunity to serve the community. Serve it with full dedication. Serve it with full, utilize it very positively. Stay away from negativity. Don't have personal prejudices. Don't have stay away from negativity. That will be how the whole community will emerge as victorious. So with that request, thanks for giving me this opportunity. Namaskar to all.
Can I just butt in here for a minute, if you allow me?
Sure, sir. Pleasure.
Of course.
Okay, I did not thank anybody because I never even thought for a second that it's over. So मैंने तो इसी का vote of thanks end में दिए जाते हैं. So but I know a lot of people have to speak, and so I'll just take this little opportunity to speak, and I also have to go after this. Okay, so for me, it has just begun. You know, that was the film was the foundation. In this entire campaign, film is just one part of it. We are doing lots of things. Pallavi and I, we are traveling every day and meeting all the topmost authorities of India. Yesterday, we were with the Chief Minister of Haryana, then Governor. And tomorrow, I'm going to Kerala. I'm meeting Arif Mohammed Khan. I am also speaking to people in Kerala. Every day, I'm going somewhere or the other. And so what do? It's not about pictures. It's not that we say hello to each other. We tell them that this is one thing which has to continue. And we are trying to create awareness door to door and one-on-one. Second thing is, as you are aware, I just became a medium again, and I requested Madhya Pradesh's chief minister to donate some land, and where we can build a genocide museum. But actually, it's a museum of humanity to show to the world the power of education, the power of spiritual forces, and all those kind of things. Now, I've told Surendraji, it's for all of you to take it in whichever direction you want to take. Third thing is, I am working on, I Am Buddha is working solely now on a very, very important project, which is a docu-series on Kashmir, which will very, very strongly establish all the exodus, the culture, the history, the invasions, and more sufferings and the success. And for me, that was always more important than the film, because films come, hype is created, there's euphoria, you see, and then it's fine. But this becomes a document. It's like a document which can be presented anywhere in the world. It will take some time, but we have started work on that. And it's hopefully it will also come on Z5 or some international network. So I request all of you, if you want to make any contributions, if you have information, if you want us to be connected to anybody, we want to do more interviews, more knowledge, but this time more about the Exodus specialists, culture specialists, history specialists. So please, it's your docu-series, and please feel free to contribute. Another thing which is happening is that the team is working very hard. Shefalika ji, Pooja, the entire team in UK. We are going to UK, and the programs are speaking at Nehru Center to Oxford to Cambridge Imperial College. But then there is also a speech at the British Parliament. And I think this British Parliament can be very tactfully, very diplomatically be used to our advantage, because when you speak at the constitutional bodies, then I think the world notices you very differently. Surendraji is also going to UNO, which is also a big news. So that platform is going to be used. After that, we are going to Amsterdam, where we will be going to Hague and speak at human rights, something, I don't know what the name is. And in Geneva also, the talks are going on to be invited at the UN Human Rights Commission, which I think is going to be a wonderful thing. So I can't give any vote of thanks to anybody. We are still working, and we will keep working. And I'll give vote of thanks only when my last project where I can contribute in this is, I think, is going to happen next year on 19th of January, where this docu-series will also be up. And that's when I will leave it to youngsters like Siddhi and whole lot of young people I know in Kashmiri Pandit community. And I hope they will take this baton forward, and it's a relay race. It's not ending here. Until we find justice, 100% justice, I think this relay should go on. So that's all I had to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vivek ji. That is you are the catalyst for starting this work. And as you said, this is the beginning, not the end. So we all have to do our part at every level. All of us have to be engaged. All of us have to contribute in whichever way we can. So thank you again, and thank you, Pallavi ji. I am going to give it back to Sanjay ji. I think we're going to start the third segment now.
So, yeah. But thanks, Surendraji. I think definitely so many people who have worked for the movie, they are not represented, and we know it's a small selection of people, and there are lots of. And thank you session is there, Vivekji, towards the end. You're right. There is a big thank you session. There was one question for Pallavi ji. Is there is time? Can I ask that, or we have time? Yeah, Pallavi, you're okay. Yeah. So the question was.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The question was. We've all seen your movies, your work in 80s, and we know you very well. We feel we know you very well. And as a producer of the movie, a lot of talk is there about women producers. Aajkal women empowerment pe bhi kafi baat ho rahi hai. So can you talk about that a little bit as a woman producer, Bollywood, and your experience in making this movie?
I don't know if I'm going to disappoint people by saying this, but I really don't look at the whole equation as a man producer, as a male producer, as a female producer. To me, I've always been very passionate about acting. I think I breathe acting. I can live without producing films, but I don't think I can live without acting. Having said that, with so much research that has gone into making this trilogy happen, right from Tashkent Files, and I've seen Vivek working just absolutely round the clock, relentlessly, constantly reading, thinking, talking about the movies that he's making. And I can say, with a complete insider information that since we started with Tashkent Files, this man has not rested at all. And as a wife, as his friend, as somebody, as a part of the family, I feel very concerned about him sometimes because I want him to take a break. But he's a man on a mission and he's not, relenting at all. So now in 2018, when we started Kashmir, as he just told you, we are still going on with the documentary while we are also researching for the next project. So to me, it is actually being able to bring out the truth in front of the society. I am very proud of the fact that we are making the kind of movies that nobody else, if I may say, has the guts to make, or has the power to make, or has the ability to make. I don't want to sound pompous here, but I'm just stating facts. Nobody is ready to touch the kind of subjects that we are dealing with. And I'm more proud of the fact that I'm the one who's producing them. I'm more proud of the fact than being a female producer. I'm more proud that I'm a human being first who's being able to produce this. To me, again, this whole debate about male versus female, I really see it more from an Indian point of view, where I always thought that my mom, she was a musician, she was a singer, and she managed her home and her career very beautifully. And I've taken a leaf out of her book, and I'm trying to do the same. We've all, gradually as a family grown into this. So for me, my career never takes precedence over my children, and my children never take precedence over my career. Everything has a place in life, and I think that's how it should be. Women are, generally made to feel guilty. They are told that you can multitask, or there are women is, has the ability of, wearing too many hats. But I think that is, just another way of making us, guilt-ridden and giving more work our way. I, for one, I always tell everyone that I cannot multitask. I do only one thing at one time. So if I'm producing, I don't know if I'm being a good mother or a good wife at that time. But then I think my family has grown with me, and now we are all adjusting around it. So to me, being a successful producer in giving the subjects to the people that nobody else is making is more important to me than being a female producer, if that answers your question.
It more than answers, and I'm glad I asked this question, and you touched on a lot of interesting points. I think they can be discussed much more at some other time. Very interesting points. So we are
Yeah,
coming to
I was just going to jump in and say this is probably the best piece of advice to women is that don't multitask because people throw more work at you, and I
yes.
think that is so true. That is so true that it makes us more guilt-ridden because we can't obviously complete our tasks, to the best performance that we can give. But thank you. That was a very good point that you made, Pallavi.
Yeah, yeah. So the last vote of thanks section we are coming to now, and it should be not take too much time. And before we come to that, I just want to quote one thing. I just read a review Subhash ji wrote about the movie, The Kashmir Files. I really loved his review. And one line struck me towards the end. And it's a line about positivity. It's a line about to move forward. And I'm just going to quote him. This is a movie of hope for the truth and has the potential to free both the perpetrator of injustice and the victim, to reveal common humanity, and to uncover ways to protect oneself from the evil that lies next to the truth. I think it's really struck me. It's a very great line. With that, we will start. I think Archana, you are going to kick off that. Thank you, and we'll try to keep it short. We have told everybody it's going to be late in India, so please stay with the time, and please take over, Archana, and you can start the thank you.
Thanks, Sanjay. I mean, we have a list of people that obviously are here to thank the entire Kashmir Files team. So first of all, I would like to welcome Dr. Agnishekar and Kemaji. I don't know, I have not seen them being admitted to the panelists. I've been trying to reach out to them. Not sure, Bhasha, if you know that if your parents are available.
Sanjay, I think Dr.
They are
Abhishekar
here.
is on. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Welcome, Doctor.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार 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 मारुति ठीक. How are you?
I am fine. मैंने सारा
thanks.
सुना बिगिनिंग से अभी तक, सुरेंद्र तक मैंने सबको सुना, ध्यान से सुना और आभार के साथ सुना. और मैं सबसे पहले, आप तो अपने ही हैं, केओ हैं या जितने भी हमारे अपनी फैमिली के लोग हैं, मैं सबसे पहले विवेक अग्निहोत्री और जो अपने पल्लवी जी हैं, और चूंकि यहाँ सुभाष काक बैठे हैं तो इनके सामने बोलने में थोड़ा संकोच हो रहा है. ये हमारी कम्युनिटी में, हमारे टाइम्स में ये नए बोधिसत्व हैं, और सुभाष विल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई वांट टू कन्वे. बोधिसत्व की उपाधि से मैं इनको जानता हूं. मेरी बेटी ने शिव और पार्वती कहा, उसके बियॉन्ड तो कुछ हो नहीं सकता है. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि जो मैं बहुत ब्रीफ मैं बोलूंगा कि जो ऑशविट्स होलोकॉस्ट के बाद थियोडोर ओडोर्नो ने एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेटमेंट दिया था कि ऑशविट्स के बाद कविता या आर्ट संभव नहीं है, और वो संभव किया विवेक अग्निहोत्री, पल्लवी और उनकी सारी टीम ने. इसलिए असंभव को संभव किया. मैं चूंकि लिटरेचर से हूं, आई एम हम्बल स्टूडेंट ऑफ हिस्ट्री, लिटरेचर एंड ट्रेडिशन एंड फोकलोर ऑफ कश्मीर. तो मुझे याद आते हैं कि नागार्जुन बहुत बड़े कवि हुए हैं हिंदी के. उन्होंने एक बार श्रद्धांजलि दी थी, मैं गीतों के सौदागर का छंदों से तर्पण करता हूं. विवेक और पल्लवी ने बहुत बड़ा तर्पण किया है हमारी कम्युनिटी के जितने भी शहीद किए गए, जितने भी वीर गति को प्राप्त किए, जितने भी हुतात्माएं में हमारी हैं, हजारों की संख्या, उनको तर्पण किया है इस फिल्म के निर्माता, निर्देशक और तमाम टीम ने. क्योंकि बात ऐसी है कि एक हमारे कवि हैं, उन्होंने कहा था कि फैलेगा फैलेगा हमारा मौन, और उस मौन का विस्फोट होगा, और विस्फोट हुआ. आज एक खोमचे वाले, आज एक गोलगप्पा बेचने वाले, आज एक कॉबलर, आज एक ऑटो ड्राइवर से लेकर के जितने भी राजनेता हैं, जितनी भी पार्टियां हैं, उन तक हमारी बात, हमारी वेदना, हमारी ट्रेजेडी, हमारा जेनोसाइड पहुंचा है। और इस फिल्म ने दो बातें बहुत जबरदस्त रूप से एस्टैब्लिश की हैं, मोनुमेंटल कंट्रीब्यूशन। एक तो जेनोसाइड को रिकॉग्निशन इस फिल्म ने मैसिव स्केल पे दी, और उतना ही नहीं, डिनायल ऑफ जेनोसाइड को भी एस्टैब्लिश किया, जो हमारी स्ट्रगल है। और हमारी स्ट्रगल हमारी कम्युनिटी की स्ट्रगल, और कम्युनिटी इज वन। आपने देखा होगा कि फिल्म के बाद भी परसेप्शन वाइज कम्युनिटी इज वन। इट्स नॉट कि डिवाइडेड है, नेगेटिव है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। पीपल आर वेरी पॉजिटिव। हैविंग डिफरेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू इज नॉट बीइंग नेगेटिव। वी आर a community with this adage. It's especially to my friend, to my dear friend Surinder, ग्राव रूजिन मौजूद। जिस कम्युनिटी में ग्राव रूजिन मौजूद होता है वो नेगेटिविटी नहीं होती है, वो डिफरेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू होता है। डिफरेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू के बाद भी इस सारी कम्युनिटी ने 100% प्रोस्ट्रेट किया है बिफोर विवेक एंड पल्लवी एंड ऑल टीम मेंबर्स। और इस पे बात बहुत लंबी की जा सके, मैं आई एम कॉन्शियस कि टाइम कम है। मैं इन सभी को शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। एक फादर के नाते अपनी बेटी को आशीर्वाद दे सकता हूं, और एक कम्युनिटी के 32 इयर्स नॉन स्टॉप एक्टिविस्ट के नाते मैं ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ एंटायर कश्मीरी पंडित कम्युनिटी, विवेक जी को, पल्लवी जी को, तमाम टीम मेंबर्स को भी ग्रेटिट्यूड एक्सप्रेस करता हूं। और यहाँ एक बात जरूर सुरेंद्र के लिए जोड़ना चाहूंगा, जो इससे सवाल पूछा गया था और जिसका सीधा जवाब उन्होंने नहीं दिया। इज अ फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन। मुझे याद है 2000 में सुरेंद्र ने अमेरिका से मुझसे फोन पे कहा था, क्या हम फिल्म नहीं बना सकते हैं, मनी शुड बी नो प्रॉब्लम। यानी कि इस बंदे के दिमाग में ये बात 22-25 साल से है, एंड दैट ड्रीम हैज कम ट्रू। एंड दो ड्रीम कम ट्रू करने के लिए डिवाइन इंटरवेंशन है। दो बोधिसत्व हमारे सामने आए, और मुझे पूरी आशा है, जब हम अकेले थे, अकेले लड़ते रहे, आज तक लड़ते रहे, 32 साल या 30 साल के संघर्ष के बाद ये डिवाइन इंटरवेंशन हुआ, एक बोनस दिया ईश्वर ने। विवेक और पल्लवी के माध्यम से ये फिल्म बनी और एक बोनस मिला, और आज बच्चा बच्चा जानता है। और ये मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि हमारी स्ट्रगल के लिए बहुत पॉजिटिव डेवलपमेंट है, इस देश के लिए, ह्यूमैनिटी के लिए। और मैं बिलीव करता हूं, इसमें मेरा टैग लाइन भी आपने देखा होगा, टुमारो इज माय एड्रेस, कोटिंग दीनानाथ नादिम, मिछम आश पगहिच। और वो पगा की आश जो है वो विवेक और उसकी टीम ने और आप सब ने संभव किया। वी आर ग्रेटफुल। और जितना भी हम सम्मान करते रहे विवेक का, पल्लवी जी का, इनकी टीम का, वो कम है। माय ग्रेटिट्यूड टू अनुपम जी और अपने मिथुन दादा और जितने भी लोग हैं, उन सबको एंटायर कम्युनिटी की ओर से पर्सनली भी, मैं आर्ट के नाते भी, लिटरेरी फिगर के नाते भी बहुत खुश हूँ, आभारी हूँ आप सबका, और KOA का खास करके हमने कम्युनिटी की ओर से आज ग्रेटिट्यूड। थैंक यू वेरी मच। उर्जू।
Thank you.
I don't know if we can bring Rajinder Premi once again. He has tried to join us again. If you can give him 2 minutes, please.
कोशिश अक्सर कामयाब हो जाती है।
Please. Thank you.
Archana, we are trying to ask him to unmute.
He's not.
कोशिश।
He's there.
Yes, I know. So let's move on then.
Let's move on.
Abhinavji, yeah, please. Abhinavji, please take it from here.
So yeah, thank you once again, such kind words. So now, as we are in this last leg of thank you, I want to invite next participant. Already they are introduced there. Padam Shri recipient Dr. Subhash Khak. He needs no introduction. He's a multifaceted personality. Dr. Agni Shekhar already talked about him. So I want to request you to please say a few words, sir.
Dhanyavad or namaskar. Delighted to be a part of it, and I want to touch upon the larger question of is it a story much beyond Kashmir, which Vivek ji mentioned in the beginning. Last night I was at a dinner by a Jewish friend, their biggest festival, which is called Passover, which is when they remember when they were exiled from Egypt. And in fact, they have kept this memory alive. And of course, they found their Israel 60, 70 years ago. But there is a certain verse that every Jew recites every evening. And this is what it is. It says, if I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. This is how the Jewish people have remembered their past. And I think for us Kashmiris and for Indians also, because India has shrunk, as we know, India was spread all over up to Iran, and through the missionaries which took the ideas of Shiva and Maheshwara beyond to China and Japan, to Central Asia, and even to the Slavic world. So India has shrunk, but I think we need to remain connected to this memory. And I think Kashmir Files has done a wonderful thing in collecting all that energy that we did have. And perhaps we need to also have something like the Passover, where we remember what has happened in the past, because in the present are the seeds of the future. And if we do not gather the present properly, then we will not be able to unfold that future which it deserves to be unfolded as. Just with this, thank you very much. I'm delighted to be a part of it, and to see Vivek ji and Pallavi ji and Bhasha ji and everybody else. Wonderful, and namaskar to everybody.
Thank you, Subhaji. It is always an honor to listen to you. Last time when you were in Chicago, I heard you. So with that, we'll move on to Rakesh Kaulji. He's an esteemed author and active community members. I would request him to come forward and speak.
Namaskar. It's good to see you, Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, Bhasha, and my younger brother, Surinder ji. The Kashmir Files have been such a joyful journey. It has been a first in many, many ways, and so much has been said and written about it. So when I was asked if I could felicitate this noble team, I was a little bit at a loss. When did such a thing happen before? Certainly not in my living memory. And as some of you know, I'm a student of history and literature, share much with my brother, Dr. Abhinav ji. And I found to my surprise that something similar to the Kashmir Files happened in the year 500 BC, 500 before the birth of Christ. That's when Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra tells us that the very first drama performance happened in Kashmir. It was so astonishing, a phenomena, because drama had never occurred before. So astonishing, much like the Kashmir Files, that the Devas said that they had to gather and honor the arts, much like what we are assembling today and doing. The gods had gone, wow, wonder, wonder. This Natya had filled humanity with Ascharya, like the Kashmir Files. And what the gods felicitated is going to be my felicitation to this extraordinary team today. So with that, I begin with Lord Indra, who spread his victorious banner, and I offer that banner to Surinder. Saraswati gave the gift of audibility and visibility. I offer that to dear Bhasha Sundari. Surya, the sun god, gave a royal parasol, which I unfurled over Queen Pallavi. Vishnu gave his lion seat, the Simhasana, on which the thespian Anupam Kherji belongs naturally. And finally, to our Mahasas warrior, Vivekji, I offer Shiva's simple gift, that of Siddhi. To the invisible actors in the movie, but whose Pran Shakti permeated it, to all those who suffered in the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits, I offer Kubera's golden crown. Thanks to the Kashmir Files today, you all are covered with glory. Kashmir Files has many ways to measure success. But for me, it will always be measured by a phone call that I received last week. There was a woman on the other side. She could barely speak. I asked her to tell me who she was. She told me her name. I couldn't recognize it. And then she said, she was the daughter of engineer P.K. Ganju, who was shot while he was hiding in that rice clay storage bin and whose blood had soaked up. She had not even shared her story with the team of Kashmir Files. But now that the movie had come out, this highly traumatized family had made a decision that they would finally open it. And for that, Vivekji and Pallavi, for finally releasing the daughter of B.K. from that fear, from that prison.
Thank you, Rakeshji. Really saying these kind words. You know, we talked about divine, but you have so well connected with the divine powers. We never could even think in that direction. And yes, you're right. It has given us a power to speak up. And a lot of people have come forward. Once again, thank you. So with that, I'll move forward with Shubhan Kotwalji. He's an entrepreneur, an active community member. To please say a few words, I think.
From UK, right?
From UK.
From UK.
Namaskar, Mara Sarni.
Namaskar, namaskar.
So many people.
Namaskar, Shubhanji.
Namaskar. So many people said so many things about this film. I don't think I have many more things to say. But if you see, Himanshu Ganju earlier said there was a world before this film and there is a world after this film. It's totally changed. The entire world has changed. This film has made perceptions to change. The thinking has changed. The narratives have changed. Normally we see a film, enjoy a couple of hours. Maybe in our childhood we used to see and the girls would weep. There was Rajesh Khanna with the cancer and but this is entirely different thing. This is not a film. This is a lifetime experience. This is a life-changing experience. Himanshu Ganju said there was one world before, one world after. This is exactly the same. My friend Agni Shekhar ji said, Tarpan diya hai. Tarpan diya hai, exactly. This has taken the steam out. Perceptions have changed. in Kashmir, the younger generation among the Muslims didn't know all about this. This film has made them to see, look into it, that this has things have changed. And outside of Kashmir, hello? Hello?
Shivanji, we can hear you. Continue. You can continue.
I can continue. Outside of Kashmir, I remember when I was there, right from Jammu to Mumbai, everybody will say, how do you left? If we were in your position, we would fight. हम लोगों ने झगड़ा किया होता, लड़ाई तुम लोग डरपोक थे. That perception has also changed. People now realize, I have seen so many, even the local, I remember one guy, his name is Farooq Rinzu. Farooq Rinzu was studying in SP College. I happened to be that time also in SP College. And now what he was saying, and again that Gul Shah's son, he was my class fellow. And what was he saying that time? He was a Qatar Pakistani. And even this Farooq Rinzu, now have seen his interview, what he says. He's openly saying that, yeah, there has been atrocities of Kashmir. This film has done all of this. Nobody has been able to do it earlier before. And thanking Vivek ji and Pallavi ji will be a too small word. The entire community will be grateful or indebted to him for this, and also to Surinder ji. I am grateful to all of them and all of you for doing this big thing. This is not a small thing for our community. This is a very big thing. And God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Shubhanji. You said it right. It's not a film. For me and many of us, it was more like sitting in a time machine, going back and experiencing that again. So thank you, Shubhanji, again. So with that, I'll move forward in the interest of time and then request to be brief here. Krishna Banji, he's the president of Indo-European Kashmir Forum and president of Hindu Council, to say a few words here.
And so she is also representing the UK community, Krishna ji.
Thank you. Namaskar to everyone. And thank you to Archana ji and to the team KOA for giving me this opportunity of expressing our profound gratitude to Vivek ji, to Pallavi ji, and to the entire cast of the Kashmir Files movie. Kashmir Files movie has brought out the KP genocide out in the open. It has really created a historical perspective for Kashmiri Pandit's story. It has given a strange enthusiasm in our younger people who have become suddenly very passionate about this Kashmir conflict, Kashmir issue. So it has given a strange kind of impetus to our younger people, which is great to see how keen they are to know more about this genocide, more about our story, more about their roots, which is wonderful. Thank you, Vivek ji and Pallavi ji. We are looking forward to your arrival in the UK. You will be arriving to the UK on the 28th of May, and you're with us for the entire week of June as well. We have planned many impact events for them. We have 2 events in Parliament, and then we have various universities are going to be Vivek ji and Pallavi ji are going to be holding 2 these impact events in the universities, because a lot of young people are very excited to meet them and to hear from them about this movie and about actually this historical perspective that the movie has given to the Kashmiri Pandits, Kashmiri Hindus. So it's really wonderful to be part of this, my team in the UK, working with them, arranging for their various activities. And they are going to be spending 2 entire days in my part of the UK, the Midlands, where they'll be visiting 2 universities, having some community events as well. So thank you so much, Vivek ji, Palvi ji, and the entire team. And we are really looking forward to welcoming you. And thank you. With that, I'll say namaskar again.
Thank you, Krishnaji, and thanks for taking the torch to UK and then moving forward from there. So with that, I will request Dr. Ramesh Raina, he's president of All India Kashmiri Samaj, to say a few words here.
Abhinav ji, I think he's not here. He did not join.
Okay.
Let's take a minute. Dr. Kema Kaul is here. She is Bhasha's mom. I would like to welcome her and ask her to say a few words, please. Dr. Sab, can you hear us?
क्या मैं मेरी बात सुनाई दे रही है आपको?
हाँ जी, सुनाई दे रही है।
अच्छा, अब दिखाई भी दे रही हूँ।
Yes, we can see you.
Thank you. मैंने आदि से आपका सब कुछ सुना। आप सबको मेरा प्रणाम। विवेक जी को और पल्लवी जी को सबका दंडवत मिल रहा है, उनमें मैं भी हूँ। उन्हें ये जानना चाहिए, उन दंडवत, उन असंख्य दंडवतों में मेरा भी दंडवत है और आपको भी। मैं इस मूवी के बारे में कुछ वाक्य बोलूंगी। इस मूवी ने जो बदला जीवन में, क्योंकि हम साहित्य से हैं और साहित्य में हम साहित्य के माध्यम से सारी लड़ाइयां हमने लड़ी हैं। कहा जाता था कि मूल्य बदल गए हैं। कश्मीर फाइल्स ऐसा एक विस्फोट आया और जिसने कहा कि सत्य मूल्य है और वही अंतिम मूल्य है, मूल्य नहीं बदलते। कहा जाता था कि स्मृतियां खत्म करो, स्मृतियां बेकार है, नए से शुरू करो। लेकिन ऐसा हुआ कि स्मृतियों से जो डराया जाता था या डरते थे लोग, वो डराया जाना सब निरस्त हो गया और स्मृतियों में वापस जाने लगे लोग। हम में से भी बहुत सारे लोग ने मूव फॉरवर्ड। ये मूव फॉरवर्ड क्या होता है? व्हाट वाज दैट? बट थैंक्स टू विवेक जी और पल्लवी जी, सबसे पहले तो जो भाषा ने उनको जो दिया, जो बात कही, आई मीन इट रियली। शिव और पार्वती को स्वयं आना पड़ा उनके रूप में और ये सारी बातें फिर से वापस स्थापित करनी पड़ी। इसलिए अब लोग जानने लगे हैं। मैं भारत में लोगों से बहुत इंटरेक्शन हो रहा है, जो साहित्य से जुड़े हैं, जो चिंतन से जुड़े हैं, जो भारतीयता से जुड़े हैं। उनमें अब एक बात आ गई है जो हम बार बार इन 32 वर्षों से रिपीट कर रहे थे कि भैया जो स्मृतियां हैं उनको संरक्षण दोगे तो उन्हीं से भविष्य का निर्माण होगा। स्मृतियां भले भूत की है लेकिन निर्माण उन्हीं से भविष्य का होगा। ये बात इसमें एक सेतु बन गया, एक आकाशीय सेतु बन गया। ये जो फिल्म आ गई और सबसे बड़ी बात जो इसने की, आध्यात्मिकता, सूक्ष्मता, ईश्वरीयता पर वापस आस्थाएं लौट आई। ये बहुत बड़ा जो आपकी चेतना में इसने भेदन किया, आपकी चेतना में इसने जो छेद कर दिया और हमारा काम हो गया। जिस बात से, जिस बिलीफ से, जिस चिंता से, जिस चिंतन से हम अकेले जूझ रहे थे, हम कुछ मुक्त हो गए। और मैं अक्सर कहती हूँ और भाषा ने एक इंटरव्यू में भी कहा कि ये एक यज्ञ चल रहा है। उसी दिन से शुरू हुआ जिस दिन वहां से हम निकाले गए, हमारा जिनोसाइड शुरू हो गया। ये यज्ञ नॉर्मली हम 5 पक्षा का करते हैं और इसमें पहला स्वाहाकार पूरा हो गया और वो है गणेश स्वाहाकार। यानी जो विघ्न करता बैठे थे वो सारे नष्ट हो गए, वो तहस नहस हो गए। ग्लोब में आजकल तो पल्लवी जी और विवेक जी जब भी ये कहते हैं कि एक दिन पल्लवी जी बोली, मैं अभी भोपाल से आई हूँ, फिर उसके बाद के मैंने सोचा शिव और पार्वती अब जो सृष्टि इन्होंने बना ली, अब ये गगन विहार करने में लगे, क्योंकि हमारी बात हमारे इसमें आता है अक्सर कि शिव और पार्वती गगन विहार कर रहे, तो नीचे दृश्य धरती को देख रहे थे कि कैसे लोग जी रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है वहाँ, क्या है वहाँ। तो ये बहुत बड़ा काम है इस मूवी का। लेकिन ये मूवी ये बहुत बड़ा जो है सौहाकार है, लेकिन इसके साथ साथ जो हम लोग भी 32 सालों से अपनी छोटी छोटी शक्तियों से इस हवन को लगे हुए थे, हम इनमें समुदायें डाल रहे थे अपने, और जो है अपने कामों की अपने ढंग से जो हम स्मृतियां बनाए हुए थे, तो ईश्वर ने दखल दिया। ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, बहुत बड़ा आभार। मैं क्या कहूँ, किनको आभार कहूँ, विवेक जी को और पल्लवी को पुनः कहूंगी, उनकी टीम को जाता ही जाता है, लेकिन जो आज तक जो इसमें लगे रहे, उनका भी बहुत बहुत योगदान और आभार है। और सबसे दूसरी बात है, आज मैं गिरजा टीकू से बात करती हूँ, सरला भट्ट से मैं बात करती हूँ मन ही मन, और बोलती हूँ गिरजा टीकू को कि तेरी चीख किसी ने नहीं सुनी थी वहां, आज सारा ब्रह्मांड चीखों से भरा हुआ तेरी। सरला भट्ट से कह रही हूँ, आज सारा देख सरला, ये सारा ब्रह्मांड तेरी चीखें सुन रहा है, परेशान है। ये मेरे अंदर एक, और इससे कितने बड़े विश्वास हमें पैदा होने चाहिए, इससे हमें कितना बड़ा, कितनी शक्ति मिलनी चाहिए, कितना सामर्थ्य मिलना चाहिए। यही मेरे शब्द है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपने मुझे भी बोलने को दिया। यहाँ बड़े धुरंधर बड़े बड़े लोग हैं, छोटी बात ने भी एक बात की।
थैंक यू केवल जी, थैंक यू। कितनी अच्छी बात आपने कही कि सत्य मूल्य है, और आखिर में सत्य की ही विजय हुई। सो विद दैट बहुत ही अच्छा लगा सुन के। सो we'll move on in the interest of time. I'll request Mohan Vanchu ji. He's an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, to say a few words, and request to keep to the brief we can. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Namaskar, Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, and to everyone. Words fail me to express my gratitude to you for making the Kashmir Files. हमने आपके लिए एक फेलिसिटेशन इवेंट दिल्ली में किया था, आज यहाँ पे दूसरा इवेंट हो रहा है। मेरी नज़र में तो जितनी बार हम आपका धन्यवाद करें उतना कम है। द कश्मीर फाइल्स ने न केवल भारत में मगर पूरे विश्व में कश्मीरी पंडितों के जेनोसाइड के बारे में जो बताया है, जो काम हम कश्मीरी पंडित 32 साल तक नहीं कर पाए, वो आपकी फिल्म ने कर दिया। 32 साल तक गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने उन टेररिस्ट के खिलाफ कोई कार्रवाई नहीं की, और द कश्मीर फाइल्स के बाद उन टेररिस्ट के खिलाफ अब 32 वर्षों के बाद में कार्रवाई हो रही है। तो ये कश्मीर फाइल्स का कमाल नहीं है तो क्या है? हमारी ईश्वर से यही प्रार्थना है कि कश्मीर फाइल्स 1000 करोड़ का जो टारगेट है उसको भी क्रॉस करे, और इससे आप और भी ऐसी फिल्में बनाएं, यही हमारी ईश्वर से प्रार्थना है। अंत में मैं कश्मीर फाइल्स की पूरी टीम को मेरा शत शत प्रणाम। ईश्वर आपको अभूतपूर्व सफलता, अच्छा स्वास्थ्य और दुनिया भर की खुशियां दे। आपको बहुत बहुत नमस्कार, आपको बहुत बहुत नमन, और आपको बहुत बहुत प्रणाम। Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohan ji, for such kind words, and thanks for all your work. With that, we'll move on to Jeevan Zuchi ji. He's a filmmaker, author, founder of Indo-American Community Foundation, a multifaceted guy. So request him to please say a few words.
Namaskar to everyone. Thank you, KOA, for this opportunity. Thank you, Vivek ji and Pallavi ji, for giving us this opportunity to educate the larger community with the Kashmir Files. Our organization was very privileged to pre-screen the movie on December 27th last year, and it was a sold-out event. Thanks to Dr. Surinder Kaul for trusting us with this important task on behalf of the diaspora. We also did an impact screening along with the Hindu American Foundation, and many public officials and interfaith leaders attended that. We are continuing to do impact events, and another one is taking place on April 30th again. And this effort will continue. Again, thanks to Palviji and Vivekji, who created this movement. Reminiscing that day on December 27th, Vivekji and Palviji arrived after going through a very rough time due to unprecedented floods in Seattle the previous night. And a flight which normally takes less than 2 hours, it became a journey of more than 13 hours for them. I cannot believe the energy and calm the couple exuberated when they arrived San Francisco. They stayed up till late in the night after we were done with pre-screening, impact screening, and the community dinner in their honor. An amazing couple on a mission who we all are very grateful to for all they continue to do for humanity. What they have produced is not only a brilliant Oscar-level movie, but has already started a global movement. The film questions eye-opening facts about democracy, religion, politics, and humanity. When my neighbor saw this movie, he remarked, "Jeevan Duchi Sahab, I never knew about so much trauma Kashmiri Pandits have gone through." It shocked me. My neighbor, like many others in our area, they knew me as a staunch and persistent Kashmir activist, and our struggle for last 3 decades. Apparently, we had failed to make them aware of the intensity of pain our community had gone through. The Kashmir Files did it in less than a month, all around the globe. Thank you, Surenderji. Thank you, Palviji. Thank you, Vivekji. And our warmest and best wishes to all of you always. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jeevanji, for kind words. So with that, I'll hand over the baton to Sanjay to move forward with the other guests. Sanjay.
Thank you. And the felicitations are going longer than expected. Very sorry, especially for folks in India. So my sincere request to the next folks who are thanking, please be brief. I know it's hard. Everybody has a lot of words to say. I start with Ravinderji, who is a respected community member and a great friend, and is my go-to person whenever I want to understand anything about Hinduism and Shaivism and all of it. Ravinderji, please.
Namaskar, everyone. Starting with the Hindus have understanding of the manifestation of reality since Rigvedic times, but repeated as late as the presentation of Abheda Shiva of Kashmir Shaivism or Kashmir Shaivism. According to this worldview, the foundational reality, that is Para, projects the universe through 3 Shaktis, starting with Icha Shakti as Mahadurga of the Para, transformed into the Jnana Shakti as Mahasaraswati, as knowledge of what has to be accomplished, and finally manifested by Kriya Shakti, Shri Mahakali, to project the seeds of Icha as the universe. I see the bringing forth of Kashmir Files through Dr. Surinder Kaul, invoked by the Icha Shakti, and Shri Vivek Agnihotriji as Jnana Shakti, and Anupamji, Palaviji, Bhashaji, and others as Mahakali, who perfectly projected the seed of Icha of Surenderji to bring forth to public the universe of 1990s genocide. The portrayal of actual events of genocide has shaken the conscience of the nation, which had, like cowards, adopted complete silence on the genocide. It has shaken the nation so much that the perpetrators of the genocide and their supporters are shaken to the core and try to discredit it. But then India has a habit of covering up such repeated genocides under some ideological compulsions. About Kashmir, traditionally the silence of the lambs was presented as peacefulness of the wounds. The movie is a testimony to the resilience of KPs who rose back from ashes to current heights. Movie will go a long way to awaken the nation to the dangers it is and has been facing for long. Therefore, I thank Dr. Surinder ji, Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, and Anupam ji, Bhasha ji, and others for having guts to put this all together and presenting it to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravinder ji. And the next, this is a truly global event, as we had pointed out. So we have tried to put together. It's not an entire list of folks, but next person is Anil Misri, if he's available. Maybe Anil Misri is not here. Namaskar, okay.
Namaskar, Mara. Namaskar, Shani Mantarpur. At the outset, I wish, and from the core of my heart, Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, and the entire cast and crew of the KPF, all the best, all the wishes from our side. I was 15 years old when I left Kashmir, and when I saw those horrendous and heinous crimes being perpetrated by our so-called brothers over there, but then that time when we left, we were very aghast, and nothing happened for the last 33 years. So today, after seeing this, after this movie has come into existence, after this movie has been created by these geniuses, we are able to tell the world as to what has happened to our community out there. Unfortunately, in Middle East, we were not able to get the screening done because of some laws over here, and I'm sure Vivekji and Pallavi are working towards getting something done on that account. But whatever we have seen, what we've heard about this movie, from the people who have watched this movie, this is a tremendous effort from them to bring the truth to the fore. I think nothing but the truth has been depicted. Nothing but the truth has been shown in the movie.
Thanks,
and I get a lot of people talking about the same over here.
Thanks.
Wishing all of you a great success in life.
Thank you very much. Thanks. We are now moving to the community member from Singapore. Again, keeping our global tradition. So Sanjay from Singapore, if he's here. I think we have to move on if he joins. My dear friend and a tireless community worker, Suman Dhar and Pramila, who have been associated with the movie. I'm personally aware of their hard work. So Suman and Pramila, if you can say a few words.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Can never believe this. Anyway, my wife Pramila and I have privileged to thank you all for bringing our story to life. Thank you, GKPD, for bringing KPs together for this project, and especially Surinder ji for being the force behind. And thanks, KOA, for organizing the event today. What can I say about the artists who brought our story alive? Pallavi ji and Vivek ji for the vision and our lifelong friendship. Pallavi ji, you said you have a home everywhere. You have a home in Chicago. Anupam ji and Bhasha ji for portraying on screen and bringing to life what we have endured for 32 years. And I would be remiss if I did not say thanks to the Chicagoland KP Biradari, who actually brought together everybody here for organizing the event, where Pallavi ji and Vivek ji were here in November 2019, and especially my friend Sanjeev Daftari and his wife Archana, who went out of their way because I had to go to India at the last minute for my family emergency, and they stepped up and brought together the whole community to help meet the requirements that we had set for ourselves for helping Pallavi ji and Vivek ji. The story has been told and retold, and awareness has been created. What we as KPs do with this is all on us, and I hope we will see a much better opportunity for us to be able to go back home someday. Thank you and namaskar.
Thank you, Soman. Thank you, Pramila. We didn't see her this time, but thanks a lot. I know she was helping you all the way. Next is Rakesh Thapluji, who is a KOA treasurer, and a president of Interfaith Association in Ohio area. Rakesh, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, Basha ji, everybody in the team, thank you so much. I am not going to say more than what everybody said, but I wanted to say one thing to Pallavi ji, that we are a small community members here in Columbus. You have another home here whenever you come next. The second point I wanted to make briefly is that I think we need to thank, as Surinder ji said, the extended team. I have been in touch with your distributor here in US, Behram. Please thank him for whatever he's doing behind the scene, bringing the movie in every small town here in US. And third, I look forward to talking to you, Vivek ji, Pallavi ji, along with the senator in Ohio who was kind enough to listen to me and some of the other community members here to issue an honorarium, which is on the way to your home in India. I will be looking forward to talking along with the senator with you in a few days. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rakesh. Felicitation continue. We go to Dr. Rajiv Pandit, who is a KOA medical director and has worked a lot on many different projects. Dr. Rajiv Pandit.
Sanjay ji, I don't think Dr. Pandit could not join.
Oh,
so we can
okay.
move on.
And he's traveling, so he's not
traveling.
available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we move on to Abhishek Ganju, who is also from KOA Chicago. Could you?
Thank you, Sanjay ji. Thank you, Pallavi ji, Vivek ji, TKF team, as well as Surinder ji for making this movie. You have come as a messiah to our community. I say that because you conveyed that message. I would also like to thank on behalf of current generation, which is my generation, our future generation, but above all, our previous generation, some of who are not in this world, they are not able to see this movie. Somewhere in the heaven, in the sky, they are watching us and they are telling us, hey, you did something, you started something, because one day we have to go up in the sky and answer them, right? So I think this is very important that we do our due diligence, we do our job and try to bring justice to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Abhishek, a lot. We move on to Sanjeev Daftari, who's also a KOA Chicago chapter member, has worked a lot for the movie. And if Sanjeev is here.
I don't see Sanjeev here. I don't think he has joined. But Mr. Sanjay Kaul from Singapore is back here. So.
Okay, so yeah, we'll have a quick. Please go ahead.
Did you miss me? I got dropped out for a second. Hey, a lot has been said. Honestly, it's a emotional moment for all of us, and I want to thank Vivek and Pallavi for bringing us together emotionally. And it is a wound that we had 35 years ago, and these guys have honestly done a true justice to this. But it's a start. I think we will look forward to many sequels from you guys. But for now, I'm in Singapore. We have a very small community, Kashmiri community, and we're all looking forward for you to come there so we can watch it too, right? So I don't know how that would be possible, but please tell us ways, means how you can make that happen. Look, we have some, I was telling Nihaji that we have some tragedy at my home. I just flew into Jammu from Singapore, and I met a lot of people here, and they were saying, they all watched the movie and they were all talking about it, but said that it's 20% of what really happened. So,
true.
So Pallavi ji and Vivek ji, you have a bigger responsibility now.
Sure.
Since you have come into this mode, we're all looking up to you. You've started a mission. Let's carry this forward because there's a lot of untold stories.
True.
When I have a chance, I can tell you mine. I've gone through this myself and lost one of my brothers, and so on and so forth. So thank you so much. Thanks a ton, and hand-folded namaskar from Singapore.
Thanks.
I've been missing you guys. I missed you in LA. I had an invitation, couldn't make it. I missed you.
We will get you. We will get you.
She invited me.
We'll get you. I think it's almost 2
We'll
hours.
We'll meet soon.
Yeah.
We have 2 hours, the time window. We should try to stay with the time. I think late in India. So the final vote of thanks, Archana ji.
Sanjay, Archana ji is here. Archana Daftari is here. She just joined. If we could bring her on.
Okay.
Yeah, just quick 2 minutes, 30 seconds, basically. Namaskar to everyone. Dear Vivek ji and Palvi ji, when you visited Chicago, we were thinking in our minds that you will be making a documentary of interviews. And how come this movie came like this? It's amazing. You and your team have done remarkably a fantastic job. It's only after 32 years, our story finally narrated correctly through Kashmir Files. Even our youth has a different perspective now. So I would like to thank Vivek ji, Parvi ji, and as well as entire Kashmir Files team. And I will also like to thank Dr. Surinder ji and his team for all his efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Archana, you can take it. And I think it's all yours. Thanks, everybody. Wonderful.
I think Pallavi ji wants to say something.
Of course.
No, I just wanted to say a big thank you to Sanjeev and Archana, because when we were there for the research, I remember my son Manan had stayed at their place, and he still has so many fond memories of both of them.
We
so
still
I just wanted to say
remember.
that Manan remembers you a lot.
Thank you.
He has a home here, always.
That goes to show that what Kashmiri community is all about. We are all about relationships, and that's how we have survived through these years. I just have just a couple of things. Rajinder ji could not join because of some issues with his mic, but he has sent me, this is Rajinder Premi ji, he has sent me a message. I'm going to read it to you. What he's saying is that my deep sense of gratitude to the entire cast of the Kashmir Files, and thanks to the KOA for organizing it. He is thanking Vivek ji did what we as a community could not do, although we did everything possible to awaken the global conscience, but could not succeed to the extent that we desired. The film has produced a phenomenal effect, and I wish every success to the entire team of the Kashmir Files for their future projects on Kashmir Pandits. And this is a message from Mr. Rajinder Premi, who possibly is still here, but his mic is not working. And the other thing I wanted to say is that Mr. Sanjay from Singapore also had requested the other day that if the film could be, shown in Singapore, and he would like some help with the distribution part of it. So I just wanted to make that comment as well.
We are in touch with Jalali Saab in Singapore. So we are weighing the processes of having a screening there. But just a little bit of patience.
There you go, Sanjay. You got your answer, right? Very good. So in the end, I have, it's hard to stop the program here, because I'm sure that many more people would like to speak. We would have probably wanted to invite many more people on the program, but we have already covered 2 hours. And at that time, we were not even sure how much time Pallavi and Vivek would have for this program. But look at that. I mean, they have stayed all the time, and really thankful that they could take 2 hours, 2.5 hours out of their very busy lives to be here. And this is the love of the community that is bringing them here and keeping them here. So thank you so much for joining. In the end, I would say that, and then you know the truth and it will set you free. The truth always persists, even if it takes 32 years, 50 years, whatever years it takes, truth will prevail. And this is what we are seeing right now. As Hemaji said that, the voices and the cries and the sobs of the victims were not heard, but now the entire universe is hearing them. And the medium through which they're hearing is the movie. And the makers of the movie, starting with Vivek and Pallavi, they have been, obviously here called as Shiv Parvati. This is the force. This is the force of the divine intervention. So whichever way it happened, maybe the gods, our cries were so much that they could not take it anymore. And they said, okay, we are going to send you, 2 people who are going to take your woes to the world. And that this is what happened. Again, thanks to the entire team, obviously people, the cameramen, the crew, people who have research, the teams here abroad, our earnest thanks to them, our profound gratitude to everyone. I do want to thank each and every one of you for joining this program today. Many of you have had personal tragedies and still had the courage to come forward and share it with the world as well as us. It takes a lot. But when we share pain, the pain lessens. And that's what we are finding. In these past 3 months or 1 month, 1.5 months since the movie has been released, we have found that we are talking about our tragedies more. We feel comfortable, we trust people, we think that someone will listen. And that's where catharsis happens. That's where purging of the pain and the tragedies happen. So thank you so much for doing that for us. So after thanking everyone here, I do want to thank my team who has put the program together. Of course, my communications team, my wonderful secretary, Neeta Bhatt, Indu Kaul, who is not with us today. I want to thank my moderators, Sanjay Kaul and Abhinav ji, who has worked very hard. I want to thank my board members who are here. And I want to also help behind the scenes, Ashwini ji and Anil Ganju ji, who are minding the webinar from behind. They are working very hard. And also I want to thank the KO youth, who also are very much involved in spreading awareness by doing podcasts, by doing interviews, by collecting stories. We are actively engaged in awareness, whichever way it is, whether it is meeting the local communities, our Indian diaspora, our local friends here, taking them to see the movies, talking about it. It is all happening at the grassroots. So on one hand, the movie has already raised awareness, but on the other hand, there's so much more work to be done. And that's changing the hearts and minds of the people on the ground. So that each one of us is doing, and it is our responsibility that we do it. So thank you to everyone. And thanks again to Pallavi ji, Vivek ji. If you want to share any more comments, please do. Vivek ji, you wanted to say something.
Yeah. I just want to say, in the movie, if you have seen the movie, there's a dialogue in the movie which Anupam Kher says before dying. He says, "Ho raha hai, kuch cheezein hoti hain par dikhti nahi hai." So I must promise you, ho raha hai, something is happening, and it may not be visible now, but soon, I think very soon in our lifetimes, it will be visible. So keep hope, keep faith. I promise you something good is going to happen.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
From
you.
the bottom of our hearts, both Vivek ji, Pallavi ji.
And one more thing I want, you said KOA youth. So I request all the youth of Kashmiri Pandit community, if you can contribute in some way, if you need help, please get in touch with us. We are working so hard for you, and so please be in touch with us in the docu-series. You can contribute. Please feel free. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Raji.
So again, thank you from the entire KOA and KP community from USA and globally. Thanks again, Vivek ji. Thanks, Pallavi ji, for joining.
Thanks again for joining and giving your time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.